And a warm good day to you, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to episode 3 of A Quarter Hour with the Human Rights Wizard. So one of our series on human rights. Remember that I am still your usual host, Ogochukwu Onoha, the Human Rights Wizard. Today, we focus on a very crucial topic: the rights of citizens under arrest. In our 2 previous videos, we discussed arrest and police brutality. It would do you well if you watch those 2 videos before this one. Many people do not know what the law guarantees them when they are confronted by law enforcement officers. And because of this, ignorance, abuse happens every day. That is, because of this ignorance, abuse happens every day. In this episode, we will break down the rights you must know, must claim, and must never allow anyone to violate, no matter the circumstance. In this episode, we will learn 10 rights, 10 or 11 rights of an accused person who is under arrest. 1. What an officer must tell you during an arrest. That's the first point. But before we treat this first point, I would like to say that the foremost among them is you. You need to be bold while under arrest. You need to be daring. You need to guard yourself against any form of intimidation. There are many bad eggs in the Nigerian police who think that a way to get an accused person submit to them is to intimidate such an accused person. Of course, there is no provision of the law saying that an accused person has to submit to the police. No, there's no such provision. But like I already pointed out, there are many bad eggs in the police who, to aggrandize themselves and get some rewards from a claimant, from someone who is accusing another, who of course must have bribed them, they try to bully their way towards getting the accused person to comply and to do their bidding. Sometimes police officers slap an accused person, torture him, bully him, call him names, and some other such intimidations. Now, what is the aim of this? They want to crush your spirit, to crush your resolve, to stand firm and defend yourself, and resist any attempt to get you to do things under duress, or to take actions or make speeches that will implicate you in the law and drag you into the pit of the law. So our first point today, the rights of a citizen who is under arrest, is what an officer must tell you during an arrest. Now, the officer should be an epitome of respect for the citizen. That is what they are trained to do, even though some of them do the contrary or the opposite. The officer must address you, the accused person, with respect. He has to tell you what police station he is coming from. He has to present his identity card if he is not in uniform and let you see the ID give it to you so that you see that the ID, the name on the identity card, tallies with the breastplate or the name stitched to the breast area of the officer's uniform. Then the officer should tell the accused person what offense he or she has committed and who has brought the allegation against him or her. In our 2 previous videos, we talked about the need for the accused person to ask the police officer of the arrest warrant which authorizes him to effect the arrest. Please watch the 2 previous videos. There are information there that we set the background for your understanding of what we are discussing here now. Then, number 2, your right to know the reason for your arrest. Yes, the officer must explain the reason for your arrest in a language that you understand. The arresting officer is called the IPO, or investigating police officer. In Nigeria, the official language is English. But if, as an accused person, you do not understand the English language, the officer must explain the reason for your arrest in a language that you understand. He must get an interpreter if he does not understand the particular language that you speak. There must be somebody around who will interpret the reason for your arrest. Number 3, your right to remain silent. What should you do when the police officer begins to ask you questions that might implicate you if the case is eventually charged to court? Your answer should be, I don't answer questions. The officer asks you of this or that, you respond by saying, I don't answer questions. That is what the law expects you to say. I don't answer questions implies that you think you are not informed enough to be able to provide answers to the question until you consult your legal representative, that is the counsel who will represent you in a law court if the matter eventually appears in a court. Number 4, your right to contact a lawyer or family. Yes, it is your right under arrest to contact a lawyer before you speak, to contact a lawyer even before you are taken to the police station. You must tell the arresting police officer, the officer who is trying to effect the arrest, that you need to be given time to consult with your lawyer. Once you have the address of the police station and the name of the IPO, the police officer can return to the station without you. Then tell him what time you will arrive at the station. And like I said in our 2 previous videos, make sure you keep to the time. You cannot evade the law. You can't evade arrest. If the officer has accepted to return to the station without you, on the understanding that you will appear at the station at the time you've stated, be sure to keep to the time. Then you have the right to contact family members. If none of them is around, you must get neighbors to know that you are under arrest and tell them why you are being arrested and tell them which station you are being taken to. If possible, 1 or 2 persons should accompany you to the police station. But if it is not possible, at least somebody should have a knowledge of where you are being taken to and the name of the officer who is taking you to the police station. All of these are crucial. Then number 5, your right to speak. Remember I said in number 3 that you have the right to remain silent. That is, to remain silent if the police officer asks you a question and you do not want to answer, or you feel you do not have the right information. You have the right to remain silent. Usually, police officers who are effecting an arrest will tell the accused person or the suspect, you have the right to remain silent because whatever you say now might be used against you in a law court. That is true, but it is also trash. It does not take away your right to freedom of expression. You can speak, you can ask questions, you can say those things that you are very sure of. You can ask the police officer, which station are you coming from? What is your full name? And compare it to the information on the ID. What is your address? Because this information must be contained on the police identity card. You must ask questions like that. So you have the right to speak. 6. Your right against torture or brutality. We spoke about police brutality in our 2 previous videos. Yes, you have the right not to be tortured or be brutalized in some other way by a police officer. A few years ago, as an intervening human rights officer, I visited a police station in Enugu where an accused person has been detained. He was still at the counter when I arrived there. My purpose of going there was to make sure that he was treated in ways that are approved by the law. And that if he is to be granted bail, that this should be done in accordance with the provisions of the law, which says that bail is free of charge, especially in all civil cases. And the young man's case was a civil one. It was a case of indebtedness. Then the investigating police officer, who was just about to take him into the cell for detention till the next day, when I arrived there, he asked the young man, to undress. And he undressed wearing only his undergarments. And what did the police officer do? He drew him on his arm and slapped him and said, "Go in here." And I was furious. I was angry with the police officer. Because that was wrong. If a police officer does this to an accused person, the accused person has the right to charge the police officer to court for assault. If you need advice on how to do this, that is why we are here, Human Rights Heralds. You can contact us using the number 0806 5422 624, or you can leave your comment on the comment section. If you have such a problem of the police brutalizing you or torturing you in order to sometimes to demoralize you, to make you dispirited, to make you lose the courage to still stand firm and defend yourself. If a police officer does this to you, if you contact this channel, I will link you up to a human rights organization that will provide a legal service to you, pro bono, that is free of charge, in case you do not have the financial wherewithal to engage a legal representative for yourself. Now, number 7, rights of a citizen under arrest. Your right to be treated with dignity, that is respect. The fact that you are under arrest does not take any of your rights in the law away. You still have the right to speak. You still have the right, perhaps limited rights, to freedom of movement. You still have the right to be heard. You still have the right to be respected. So the police officer who is effecting arrest must address the accused person as sir or ma'am. There are many cases in a Nigerian situation where a police officer who is arresting someone already condemns the person. They call the person a thief. They call the person a criminal and give him or her some other such obnoxious names. That is wrong. It is a violation of the right to dignity of the human person. Only a law court is authorized to declare someone a criminal or a thief or whatever description we may give to it, after the person has been duly tried and found guilty of an offense for which he or she was accused of. So a police officer is to address a suspect, an accused person, as a suspect, the accused, the suspect, but not a thief or a criminal. Right number 8, how to act safely during an arrest situation. Yes, to act safely is also your right. How? How do you act safely? First and foremost, do not give the police the impression that you are afraid of being arrested or taken to the police station or appearing in court. The legal system is a means that society has provided through which our differences can be settled harmoniously so that we can have a just and orderly and happy, harmonious society. So do not be afraid. Therefore, don't give the impression that you want to run away. Don't even try to run away. If you do that, you will complicate your issue for yourself. The police is authorized to recapture you if you try to run away. And to do this, sometimes the police might try to shoot at your leg. Very often, the police officer will misfire. If he misfires, you could get killed, and there will be no reparation for your family if this happens. There is no reparation for the family if you die under arrest or while being arrested if you try to run away. So do not try to run away. Cooperate with the police. Be bold. If you can't go to the police station immediately, give them the reason why you can't go with them, and then give them the time when you will appear at the station, and remember to keep to the time. Then, also as a part of being safe during arrest and having your dignity protected, you can go to the police station on your own if you must go with them immediately. You mustn't go in the police car if you prefer not to. You can drive yourself to the police station if you have your own car, or go by public transport. The police cannot handcuff you just because you are under arrest. It is against the law. It is against your right to human dignity. To be seen by your neighbors in the street handcuffed as if you were a criminal when you are not. The police does this sometimes, like I said earlier on, to break the resolve of the accused to defend himself. And once they are able to break your resolve, they can input allegations on you and get you to accept under duress that you did what you didn't do. Right? Number 9. The police must not address you as guilty even before you are taken to a law court. The police has no right to do so. Only a law court can declare an accused person guilty or not guilty. And number 10, the last one, your right to sue. Yes, you have the right to sue a police officer who has manhandled you, who has violated any of your rights while you are under arrest. And like I remarked earlier on, if your only barrier towards doing this is the fact that you do not have money to hire a legal representation, contact Human Rights Heralds. We are not an enforcement agency, but we are partnering. We are partners to human rights organizations across the country, including the Nigerian Legal Aid Council, the National Human Rights Council, that is National Human Rights Commission, and other such agencies, including privately owned human rights organizations, which are even more effective than the government-sponsored ones. If you contact this channel, we can link you up to a human rights organization that can provide pro bono service to you. That is, that will give you a lawyer who will appear in court on your behalf free of charge. If your only reason for not being able to hire a legal representation is the fact that you do not have the money to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, my treasured viewers, thank you for watching episode 4 of the Human Rights series. Knowledge is power, but only when we share it. So please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with everyone who needs this information. Together, we will build a society where the rights of everyone is respected and protected. Stay safe informed, and see you in the next episode. Remember that I am still your humble host, Ogochukwu Onoha, the Human Rights Wizard, and the channel is Human Rights Heralds. See you on our next video. Bye-bye.